Hey, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Tim.
I'm Rod.
And today we're going to take a look at a Kickstarter prototype of a game coming out called Incantris. This plays 2 to 4 people in about 20 to 60 minutes. And this is made by the same people that did War of Kings.
Right.
And so they sent us this copy and wanted us to take a look at it so that you could take a look at it and see if this is something that you want to back on Kickstarter. So, Rod, why don't you talk to us about the components?
Okay. So normally for a prototype, we don't like to really review it, but this one it's so good that we could review it. I mean, it is outstanding. The 3D, terrain and the hexes right there, the whole thing and the artwork. I'm just really impressed with the prototype that we got sent to play. So in the game, you have a lot of different tokens that represent different things from different magic spells that you may do. You have trees. You've got buildings that are partial buildings, I guess, that block line of sight.
Summon creatures.
Exactly. And then, of course, you have the miniatures themselves, which we have seen the finalized versions of them. I just think the miniatures and all the pieces to it are outstanding.
Yeah, totally. Ready to go. We said
exactly.
This could be something that we would have got out of the box and not thought,
right. And we've done a lot of different ones that have been prototypes, and
that have been
this
brutal.
is by far the best one, ready to go as is. Yeah,
yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. So, okay, Tim, let's talk about the rules. How hard or easy is it to learn this game?
Yeah, so once again, this is a preview copy of the rules, so it's not quite finalized. But I think for most part, it is. And it does a great job of getting you to set up the game, and of course, showing you pictures and stuff of the setup and stuff. I would have wished the card diagram that explains what's all on the card was sooner in the book. Otherwise, it got us set up really quick, and then explained how to play the game really quick, so that once you start playing, you're just playing. So It's not an issue at all learning these rules.
Yeah, we were talking how a lot of times when you play some of these Kickstarter games, that you go through and you're like, that doesn't really work, or I wish they would have done that differently. But we went through the whole thing and pretty much were like, this just felt like a finished game. It didn't feel like, sometimes people are just trying to make up stuff and it just doesn't feel like a completed game. This felt like a completed game with all the rules.
It feels well play tested. Like there's obviously something, everything feels kind of balanced in the fact that you have 3 characters. And a lot of the stuff, since the classes are shared, there's like 2 or 3 of each class, but each individual caster is an individual in that they have their own set of spells. So even though they might have something that's similar to another person, they'll have another spell that person doesn't have.
Okay. Well, let's give you a quick overview of how to play Incantris so you can figure out if this is something that you want to back on Kickstarter. So at the beginning of the game, each person is going to take a set of 3 different, what are they called, wizards?
Wizards, yeah.
Wizards. And so each one of those wizards has different abilities, like what Tim was saying. And so then you're going to set up the board in a certain way. So there's different setups they give you in the rule book that tell you based off of the number of players and the type of game that you're going to be playing. So there's some really cool setups in the game where it's just maybe a standard setup or, they even have one where it rotates. And so the whole board shifts around, which is a really cool idea. And so depending on the setup, you set the board up, and then there's starting locations. Each person puts their wizards down in a certain part of the board, and then you just go at it, right? And so you're going to be taking turns, one at a time, activating a different wizard and using the magic ability that they have. And so you can move and use a spell, or you can use it and then move. And then there's only one difference with that, where there's a guy that can do both. But anyways, that's all that you can do on a turn. So once you use that turn, you flip your token over for that guy. He's been activated. You can't use him again for the rest of that round. Then the next person goes. And so it just goes around. So it's a tactical, strategic type thing where you're moving around the board and then using the abilities that your guy has. And then that's pretty much it. There are dice that you have to roll in the game. So not everything is automatic. There are some things that are automatic, like maybe you might have an ability to drop a thing there that would block line of sight and block movement, things like that. And so you drop that out onto the board, but then otherwise you're able to roll your dice, and then if you get more wands than the other person gets shields, wards, then they can ward it off, then you're going to cause damage, or that specific magic ability will take place. And so That's pretty much it, right? There's different guys that you can throw out onto the board, like, what were these guys
The
called?
Hydras.
Hydras that you can put out there. There's this little circle thing that you can put out that gives you plus abilities, which I really appreciated. Plus dice. If you're in the circle, you've got healing abilities where if somebody is close to you, you can heal them. You've got teleport. Yeah, you can shoot all the way across the board with a few of the guys. They've got an ability to do that.
You can cast things on people like Bane that ruins their defense and stuff like that.
Which is great, yeah. And then there's an entrapment or entanglement or something. Yeah,
ruins their movement, which for the melee guys is really harsh.
Yeah, if you put that on your arcane knight, then they can't attack unless they're close to you. So if they can't move very quickly, then that really ruins their.
The game's pretty simple. It's just that there's a lot of variation to it, so that it's gonna have a lot of replay value, I believe. And with all the extra pieces for the mapping, I can just see. I mean, you hate to talk about this, but expansions I can just see left and right because there's so much you can do with this game.
He hates to talk about expansions.
But the one thing I really do like about it also is that unlike is it Mage Wars? Mage Wars kind of felt like you're just dragging this battle out, just went on and on and on. This game's pretty. I mean, it does play out pretty quickly. I mean, you do your turn, boom, boom, boom. It's pretty fast, so I do like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I think it has to do with like the limited number of
spells and stuff, and exactly.
And the whole the battle where you roll your attack dice and then I roll my defense dice that's listed here based on the what type of power the other person has, and it's a fight. Like that way, it's kind of cool because it gives your guy a chance. It's not just like he casts and your guy hits and gets hit and that's it. So that's really nice. Of course, for some people that constantly block all the damage with their die rolls, that gets pretty annoying. So you kind of have to figure out ways to just bypass their defense and stuff. So that's kind of cool too because it makes for another tactical option. And
for our group, we don't do a lot of tactical games. At least not at least the three of us together. And I thought it really played really well because it wasn't too tactical where it was just going to take forever. Where some people get bored with it, but it was enough to keep it, kind of like a chess game. But then, it played out quickly, so I did enjoy it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you guys first set this up, I was thinking, oh boy. I was like, oh man, this is going to be one of those long, crazy, you hit me and then I hate the game. But it really did. There was some balance in the back and forth where, it wasn't like I'm just out of the game right away,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I really did prefer the shifting battlefield so that when there was, because we played it with 4 guys here, then it wasn't like these 3 guys gang up on this one guy or these 2 guys get to gang up on this one guy without the other guy being able to attack because the board kept moving. So there was every now and then it was like you were fighting somebody else.
Yeah, it changed your advantage on somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the walls, the angle of the wall wouldn't matter as much when you moved up and now you're side by side with somebody instead of facing across to them.
Yeah, so there wasn't any you didn't get bogged down and locked into. I'm not saying near the end of our game it kind of did that where we were so far apart, but at some point you got to come out and fight. So
right.
All right, so that's Incantris. You can check it out on Kickstarter, see if it's something that you want to back. And we've got a lot more reviews on our website, boardgamecloset.com. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And as always,
support your local hobby shop.